There's been so much wrong with this fish, honestly. It's been like 3 months. It's been a year, guys. It's been such a long time. Hey guys, so this is going to be my video, or I guess two-part series about my fish Hendrix and everything we went through to get him from where he was a few months ago to the fish he is now, which is not 100% perfect, but it's a big improvement. So basically, there's a little bit of history that needs to be said in that I went overseas for 10 months and the fish were left in my family's care. So I don't really know how the problem started. I don't know fully what kicked it off. I came home in February this year, and within about a few weeks I noticed he was declining. So I'm not sure if it started while I was away or if it was coincidental that when I came home the problem started happening. I can't really speak for his behaviour from May 2019 till February 2020 because I wasn't here. But Hendrix has always been a bit of a weird fish. Behavioural wise, he kind of hangs at the top a lot and gasps a lot for air. If I have some older videos, I'll throw them in. But he never had buoyancy problems until I came home. So I kind of started picking up on Hendrix having buoyancy problems fairly early, and that was because I had another fish before I went away called Franklin. If you've been following me for a while, you know Franklin was my black oranda who I loved, and he had buoyancy issues. Unfortunately, while I was overseas, while he was in my parents' care, he got so bad that we had to euthanize him. But based off my experience with Franklin, I kind of knew the signs to look out for a fish that's starting to develop swim-bladder disorder, and that's a fish with like erratic swimming patterns. Normal fish will, you know, glide through the water quite seamlessly from point A to B. Fish with swim-bladder problems kind of go like this very quickly, and I think it's because they have lack of control over their movements, or they're losing control and they're trying to get from A to B as quick as they can because it's exhausting for them and they're constantly trying to fight the up. So Franklin used to do this thing where he would do a barrel roll, we would call it, where he would be at the top of the tank and then zoom down, and I think that was his effort to get to the bottom of the tank. Like a big burst of energy, like I have to get there. So Hendrix started doing a little bit of this, and as well as that he had this really odd behaviour where he would park himself behind the filter, like between the filter and the glass, the internal filter I have, and he would sit up there all day and just like half away for air, like gasping for air. And it was really weird behaviour. It didn't look like he was having problems going down. Like when he went down, it wasn't totally normal, but he could go down and stay down for a while and then go back up. So my initial thought was, okay, this fish has a really huge wen, and he's gasping for air, so maybe this wen is covering too much of his gills, and that's why he's struggling to breathe, and because he's struggling to breathe, he's really tired, and that's why he's parking himself in the corner. So I'll go ahead and trim his wen. So I did that. And that was the second time I had trimmed his wen. The first time I trimmed his wen was before all these problems happened, and it was just after I came home because his wen was covering his eyes. So I had done that surgery first, and that fixed his eye problem. But then he developed these other weird behaviors, and that's when I thought I need to trim the gill area. So I trimmed it for a second time. Both were successful. However, it didn't fix him. I noticed that he still kept sitting in the corner. He still kept breathing really heavily. So I thought, okay, well, this isn't the problem, but I don't know what else there is. Like, he's an externally normal looking fish. There's nothing wrong with him externally. I did worm them. That didn't fix it. Yeah, so I was really stumped on what to do, and it was kind of this waiting game of, do we wait and see if he gets worse? And then if this problem pops up, we can finally actually treat it. So there was a lot of discussion about, should I euthanize him? His quality of life was really, bad. And over time he would start to get picked on, particularly by Zana, because she is in charge. But she would pick on him a lot. And it was just not nice. So I think at that point we decided that there was nothing externally wrong with him, so we would just try some things. So we tried some multi-cure baths. I did that for a week, twice a day for 20 minutes. Hendrix in a little bucket, multi-cure baths, and we didn't see any improvement. And that was really disappointing. I thought that was going to help. We thought maybe he had like an internal bacterial problem and that was causing pressure on the swim bladder. There was really nothing to go off here, so we were just trying everything. Yeah, so we tried all the baths, didn't help. So then I thought, okay, let's quarantine him and treat him for worms.
So this is me filling up my 70-litre quarantine tank for Hendrix. Then I went to my main tank and grabbed some established filter media from my canister filter so I could jumpstart a filter in Hendrix's quarantine tank. So this is Hendrix's quarantine tank ready to go with the filter. So I never actually ended up treating Hendrix for worms because he didn't end up having any, but I will explain to you what I was going to use in case you need to treat your fish for worms. So on the left here, I have the Hikari Goldfish wheat germ food, which is really good for goldfish with floaty issues. It doesn't create them to become constipated. And the treatment I'm going to be using is the Killworm poultry wormer. It's designed for chickens, but it works well on fish if you add it into pellets that are soaking in water. So that was my plan of attack here, to use that, and if that didn't work, to go ahead and retreat with the fluke and tapeworm tablets. I did this back in February, so this was going to be my last resort.
So I quarantined him in a separate tank, got everything ready to treat for worms, and because I thought that must be the next thing, worms in his stomach putting pressure on the swim bladder. I don't know, there's nothing wrong externally with this fish. I had to try everything. So set up the quarantine tank, got everything ready, and I think I did one treatment, like one soaked food in the Killworm poultry wormer, and quickly realized I didn't have worms because his poos were normal. So I thought, well, that's not it. After that, I put him back in the main tank because I thought, well, there's no point him being in quarantine. It's like fresh water. It's probably better for him to be in an established tank with his friends and the proper filtration and everything. Like, he's better off. So I put him in the main tank and was kind of thinking about, okay, what next? Like, just trying to think ahead while leaving him there. He's not getting any worse. But then he did get worse. He was just floating around the tank upside down like a dead fish, and my other fish were coming in and like pecking at him. Like, my heart dropped. I was like, oh my god.